There really is a man's world and a woman's world. When we try to blend them, we don't have women or men, either one anymore. If you got your Bibles, we'll be in the book of Matthew again. The book of Matthew, there's a little picture. You see the picture? Christ is the umbrella, the big umbrella. And then look what it says. Some of you aren't going to like this. Christ is that umbrella policy over your whole life. Now I'm going to tell you God's plan for families. Look what's next. The husband is the next umbrella. There's too many men shirking responsibility in our society today. You know how I know that? There's women raising babies with no man around. Ladies, I love you, but I want you to know something. You can't raise a man. Listen to what I'm telling you. You know why you can't raise a man? Because you ain't one. A young man needs a male figure to become what God wants him to be. And whatever happens in that family, dads, husbands, God holds you responsible for first. See, Adam learned that real quick. What did Adam say when Eve went and ate of the fruit and come back and says, honey, I messed up? She said, but it's wonderful. Come on over here with me. And then God shows up and says, what have you done? Everybody know what Adam said, right? It's that woman you gave me. It's in the Bible. You can read that. I'm not making that up. That's not a sexist remark. That's a factual remark. Adam said to God, it's that woman you gave me. And God said, that argument holds no water. I put you in charge. I made you responsible. That means you have to answer. Men, you can run down your wife all you want to. God's holding you accountable for your family. You need to pull your britches up and become the man God intended you to be. Period. I am responsible for my crazy kids. I don't care how old they get. I'm responsible. I have to be the man. That's what God said. That's the order that God placed things in. Look at what's next. The wife. Husbands, you're supposed to shelter and shield that wife so she can do her job. She's got responsibilities. She's got things she has to do. She has things that God will hold her responsible for. And men, if you didn't make a life where she could do her job, that's on you. God put something in them that He didn't put in a man. Wives can do things men can't do. Husbands can do things wives can't do. We all have our role. We all have our job. In our society today, we've got them twisted. We've got the roles twisted. A man can do anything a woman can do. No, he can't. A woman can do anything a man can do. No, she can't. There's some wiring differences. Our bones aren't the same. Our muscular system is not the same because a man's job is not the same as a woman's job. How many of you would be married to a man that if you was at a restaurant and some guy snatched a chair out from under you and you hit the ground, if your husband sat down and said, you need to do something about that? No! The man should stand up, help the wife, and protect her. Because that's his job. Whatever it takes to protect your family, men, you need to do it. I can't find a job. Pick up cans. Your kids have to eat. Your wife can't nurture those children with an empty refrigerator. Men, you got to do your job so the wife can do hers. So these kids today, it ain't the kids, it's the mamas and the daddies. Kids only know what they're taught. If they're taught to be heathens, they're going to be heathens. If they're taught to be disrespectful, they will be disrespectful. You don't have to teach a child sin. They know it from the day they're born. You don't have to teach a child to lie. Well, they're so little, they wouldn't lie. You ain't never been around none. Again, put two of them in a sandbox and only put one truck. Somebody's going to bleed. One of them will hit the other with the truck so they can play with it. It's nature. You have to teach them differently. You have to raise them with examples of what they should be. It starts with Dad because his umbrella is bigger. Mom, your umbrella, though smaller, is no less important. It amazes me how many mothers today think it's okay. Well, I'm going to leave my kids with my mom for a month. I raised 4 kids. And my philosophy of life has always been, if my kids can't go, I've got no business going. If I got to leave my young'uns somewhere, I don't need to be going where I'm going. It's nice to get away. It's nice to do things without. That's date night. Doesn't it amaze you that a mother could drop her young'uns off somebody else so that she can go to the club? I need to go out with my girls. My mother's here, and one thing she taught me from the day that I was old enough to hear it, when you were born, my life stopped, and I now live for you. She meant that. How could she say that? Because her umbrella was where it belonged. Matthew 23, verse number 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou hast killed the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered my children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not. That's what Jesus does. His umbrella is over us all. And in turn, I have an umbrella that covers my family. And in turn, my wife has an umbrella that covers my children. And if I keep those umbrellas in the right spot, we're covered. We've invented some new one that just don't work. That's what our society's done. Again, men and women are just alike. No, they're not. That's not going to work. Because everybody has to have their umbrella in the right place. If you're going to be a Christian, a child of God, you need to live your life holding up to the responsibilities that you have been given. Because being a Christian carries responsibility. Your responsibility, men, is your family. Well, that crazy woman God gave me, your responsibility. You keep the umbrella over and take care of what you've been given. That's why God made men and women so different. Men work. Women work. I'm not saying women don't have jobs, and I'm not getting into all. But I'm saying men are wired to go out and kill things and bring them back to feed their family. That's the way we're wired. We're wired to go out and do whatever it takes. A real man, you won't see saying, every 2 or 3 weeks, I'm down, I'm going to be off for a week. Grow up and be a man. Your job is to work every day with no thanks and no appreciation. I think the 4th most celebrated holiday is Mother's Day. Father's Day ranks below Arbor Day. Mom's way up here. Does Dad care? Most of the time, no. Men, we've got to be men, and we've got to... What do the umbrellas do? Umbrella protects us from the rain. Bad times come in life, and they always... I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much faith you have. I don't care how much you go to church, how much you love the Lord. Bad times are on the way. What does the Bible say? He makes it to rain on the just and the unjust alike. How does a dad keep the rain off of his family? Sometimes it's by saying, everything's fine. Don't you worry. I'm going to take care of it. When in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to fix this. Is there a dad here that hadn't had that thought, that said to himself, things are going to collapse. I'm going to lose everything. They're going to kick us out of this house. We're going to be sitting here with no electricity. I ain't got a penny. I lost my job. But you won't ever tell the kids that or the wife that. You'll look at them and say, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. And you'll put your faith in God so that you can keep your umbrella over your family. That's what a man does. There really is a man's world and a woman's world. When we try to blend them, we don't have women or men, either one anymore. Men, we got to be men and be responsible and keep that umbrella over our family. Bad times happen. Does an umbrella keep the rain from falling? No. It just keeps it off of us till it quits. Did you know that Christians, professed Christians, are now up to like 40% of Christian marriages end in divorce? Did you know that? 40% end in divorce. How sad is that? Why? We've taken down the umbrellas. Men are not doing their jobs. Women are not holding their end of the job. But we've got to learn. Bad times come. The umbrella doesn't keep the rain off. It just keeps you dry till the rain is over. Dads, keep the umbrella up. Moms, keep the umbrella up. Jesus can give me peace because his umbrella offers peace, shade in the midst of the hot. And we need to be doing the same things for our families. Your kids are going to need it. Your wife's going to need it. Wives, your husband's going to need it. Just because the man has the big umbrella. Ladies, I want you to understand something. The husband's got the big umbrella, which means he carries a lot of the weight and responsibility for your family. It wouldn't be bad on occasion to just look at him and say, I appreciate what you do. I just want you to know that. You just gave him the greatest gift he could ever have. And he will hold that umbrella for the rest of your life. Same thing true with the wives. Husband, every once in a while look at your wife and say, I appreciate how you watch over our family. I appreciate the food you put on our table. I appreciate the care that you show. But husbands, tell your wife you appreciate her umbrella over your family. Because most men here, if you're honest, you couldn't get by without that woman that God gave you to be a helpmate. When you look it up, you know what it means? Doesn't mean subordinate, doesn't mean helper, doesn't mean personal assistant. It means the person that gives strength to the person who's in charge. That's, ladies, what your job is to give strength to the person that God holds responsible. But sometimes I'm weak. Sometimes my spirit's weak. Sometimes my flesh is weak. Sometimes I run into things that I think are going to completely derail me. But that's why Jesus has got that umbrella over. Right? That's what the umbrella does. When I get weak, it gives me strength. It lets me be the leader that God wanted me to be the man in my home that God intended me to be. And that's what we have to know. His strength is my strength. My weakness is always there. But his strength lifts me up. And it does all of us. We have responsibilities. We all got a job to do. There's nothing wrong with women having a role in society that God intended them to have. And there's nothing wrong with a man having a godly role in society that God intended him to have. We've blurred the lines so much in our society. Men, you have a responsibility that your wife doesn't have. Wives, you have a responsibility that falls under your husband's responsibility that he just has to manage and be responsible for. Husbands, that's your job. You can't put off or pawn off your responsibilities in your house. When you stand before God, he looks at you and he says, you, I gave a home and a family, and I hold you responsible. Ladies, when you stand before God, God's going to say, I gave you those children to nurture and to love and to show unselfishness, and I'm going to hold you accountable for that. We've all got our job. We've all got an umbrella, and we need to keep the things that God has given us under that umbrella. Let's all stand this morning.